Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Glow Bookshop Facebook Live Bedtime with Bertie event. It's just gone 6:25, and no doubt there'll be lots of people to join us and watch what's going on. So we're just going to faff around in the background and we'll say hello to people. And we'll talk a bit and we'll watch the numbers coming up, and then at 6:30, then when everything's good to go, then we'll go. So we've had a wee test, and what I can certainly tell you is that Wendy is there and Bertie is there as well, because if you probably know, the whole point about the story about Bertie was that Bertie ran away. He escaped. So the good news is that at least we definitely know that Bertie's going to be there for us this evening. And all that Wendy will be telling us is a story about what happened a long time ago, as opposed to a story about what happened on the 25th. So hi Ewan, good to see you. Wee message there, good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. And yeah, Wendy's pitched in there as well, so she's in. And oh my word, there's lots of people joining. So what we're going to do, just while we're sort of joining people, and obviously tonight's really for boys and girls, okay? So normally when I'm working in the bookshop, I've got my shirt and my tie on, but to be perfectly honest with you, it's far too hot for that tonight. In fact, it's absolutely roasting in here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a bit of a naming the Bertie, because if you look behind me, you'll see that there is absolutely nothing up there at all. But what we've managed to do is we've actually managed to rustle up a few Berties. And hello Helen, good to hear that you're there as well. So we've managed to rustle up a few Berties, and if there are any boys and girls watching in particular, then I would like you to give us a name for some of the Berties that we've got here, because we can't call them Bertie, because Bertie's the name of the buffalo who's with Wendy. So we're going to have to find another name for them. So if you're sitting there and you're able to send a wee message to us that will tell us some names for some of the Berties that we've got, then that would be really appreciated. And one of the reasons why I actually love Bertie is because although he never realised it at the time, Bertie has actually generated some lockdown hair. Would you look at that, and look at that, and look at that. So, oh, and there's a message there, oh, and apparently there's a baby fox watching as well. So apparently we're going to promise he's on the best behaviour, because I don't know what Bertie thinks about foxes. So any suggestions for names for Bertie's siblings that you can send in to us? Can't call them Bertie. What could we call them that's a bit like Bertie but slightly different? And they might be boy buffaloes or they might be girl buffaloes. Oh, hang on a second, he's got a bit of dust on him, so just hold on a second just while I buff up Bertie the buffalo. No, that's not Bertie, is it? Bertie's up in the other room. So any suggestions for names, send them over and we'd be delighted. So Marissa says, my daughter says Henry. Right, so here we go. We've got you ready? So we've got Henry. So we can put Henry up there with his name. Any other suggestions? Right, here we go. We could do with a few more suggestions here. Oh, Angus. There we go. That's a good one. As Angus. You need to forgive my writing, it's terrible. But let's put Angus up there. So we've got Angus, we've got Henry. And who else have we got? We've got Ivy May. That's a nice one. Ivy May. So that's a brilliant one. Ta-da! Ivy May. Let's put that Bertie up there as well. Now, I have to actually tell you that there's not all that many Berties in the United Kingdom at the moment. We've got just about all of them, and I think there's 6 of them in total. So we do need to watch out for that. So if you are looking for a Bertie, give us a wee shout and we'll get one laid aside for you. So that was one Bertie that high up, and high in a second, here's a buffer low away down here. And this is the last one that we've got to name this evening, I think. And somebody has suggested Bessie. Right, Bessie the Buffalo, that'll do. Bessie and Bertie. Bessie and Bertie, I quite like that actually. So here's Bessie. And I think we could probably take one more name, because I've got 5 Berties here, and I know that Wendy's got another one all the way up in Dundee as well. So, oh, high in a second, I can see there's another one just coming. That's a good name. So we've got Roberta. So we'll put Roberta up in just a moment. There we go. There's Roberta, and we're going to put Roberta up in just a moment. So that's wonderful. So we're just waiting for a few more people to come, and inevitably, because it's all to do with the Glow Bookshop, then we're going to have just a wee bit of an advert. So we're going to go, ta-da, commercial break, but don't go away anywhere because it won't be that long. One of the great things, and one of the reasons why we're doing this, is because we're getting ready to open again. So next week on Monday, we'll be opening to all our customers, and you know, you can see that just there, but if you want, you can find the information on the website. Because we're just getting open back up again, we're just going to be open Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday morning, but then we'll get away. And oh, there's another suggestion just come in from Sammy the Buffalo. That sounds a great idea. So there we go, we've got lots of names, so thanks very much for that. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, we're getting ready to get underway. Thanks very much to everybody for joining. And what we're going to do, if this works, is I'm just going to bring in our friend Miriam. And it's decided it's not going to work. Never mind, she must... Let's just see if this will work. Dun, dun, dun. No, it doesn't, but never mind. So long as we've got Wendy here, then that's absolutely fine. So this event this evening has been brought to you by the Glow Bookshop in Motherwell. And we've been privileged to work with Wendy a number of times with different events. And Wendy came to us at Christmas last year, actually. So we had Bertie the Buffalo with us for Christmas. And we thought, what better way to open the bookshop again and to celebrate Independent Bookshop Week is by having one of our best friends back. So we thought, why don't we introduce Bertie the Buffalo and Wendy to do a live stream this evening. So here we go. What we're going to do is going to hand straight over just now to Wendy. Now, what I want you to do, boys and girls, is I want you to shout at your screen very, very loudly, turn your microphone on, Bertie. Because for any of you who have been involved with Zoom or Microsoft Teams or anything like that, then you know that that's always what you've got to shout at the screen is, turn your microphone on. So if everyone shouts together, turn your microphone on, and we'll see if we can get Bertie the Buffalo here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Turn your microphone on, Bertie. And let's... Oh, something's happening. Shout again. Turn your microphone on, Bertie.
Hello. Hello. We're here. We're here.
Hello, Bertie. How are you doing?
Bertie's doing brilliantly. He says he's so excited. He's got a bit shy, which is not like him. He's not shy.
Well, that's very strange. Usually happens, but he doesn't.
Sorry?
That doesn't usually happen with Bertie. He's not usually.
No, I'm sure he'll be chatting away in a minute. He'll be chatting away in a minute. He's like that. But he asked if I would tell all the boys and girls his story in real life. Is that all right?
That's absolutely ideal, Wendy. Why don't I hand over to you, Bertie, and you tell us something about the story, and then remember, it's called Bedtime Stories with Bertie, so you must remember to read the story to us. Okay?
Oh, I'm going to. Don't you worry. I'll be reading the story as well. He told me I had to. He's terribly bossy when he's not really shy.
Excellent. Go for it.
Well, Bertie the buffalo was actually a real buffalo, and he was a baby buffalo in Fife in Scotland. And one day he decided he was going to run away, and he did. And he was running around Scotland on his own for 2 weeks before he went home. Now, nobody knew what he was doing while he was running around Scotland on his own, but the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, got themselves involved looking for him, and they called him Bert. And then someone came to me and said, oh, Bertie the buffalo wants, or Bert the buffalo wants his story told in a picture book. And I thought, well, why not? I'll do that, but I need to get a publisher. So I approached various publishers, and the absolutely wonderful Sarah Grace Publishing gave myself and Bertie a publishing contract, and the rest, they say, is history. So he was called Bert by the BBC, but I decided Bertie was a better name. I'm an author, I can do what I want. So Bertie and his friends, some of his friends, not all of them, are real buffaloes. So Seven and who was the other one? Seven and I've forgotten the name of his other buffalo friend, but they were Hezzy and Seven were real buffalo in real life, and they still are, and so is Bertie. So there we go. But Bertie and I together made up a fabulous story of what he was doing while he was running around Scotland on his own, and that's what I'm going to read to you tonight. If you're all sitting comfortably in your pyjamas or whatever you're wearing, you don't have to go and find your pyjamas. They're not necessary. I've got my Bertie the Buffalo t-shirt on. So I'm very fortunate that I'm entitled to a Bertie the Buffalo t-shirt. So, look, this is the soft toy, this little chappy here. By the way, this isn't the one that I've got ready to send to you if someone needs it. There's another one. This is mine. This is my Bertie. So he goes everywhere with me. And there's a colouring book as well. So we'll talk about those at the end. So, shall I read the story? Oh, Bertie's moving so that he can get seen better. He's got the most gorgeous eyes, doesn't he? Now, I've got to tell you that I'm Wendy H. Jones, and the illustrator is a chap called Barry Diaper, who's absolutely amazing. He's brilliant. And he's done the most fabulous illustrations. So I'm going to read it upside down for me, but it'll be the right way around for you so you can see the illustrations. So, Bertie the buffalo was really, really wee. He galloped round his paddock, giddy with glee. Bertie was the smallest of the animals on the farm. He didn't even reach to the farmer's arm. There were great big older buffalo with great big horns, and tiny little buffalo who had just been born. Mr. and Mrs. Emu who laid ginormous eggs, and tiny little emus with long necks and legs. Bertie played at racing. He was the fastest baby there, apart from Emma the emu, who could outrun a bear. Jumping was his favourite over dry, stained dikes, with Grandma Buffalo shouting, "Come back, you little tyke!" But Bertie's very favourite game, the one he liked the best, was running off and hiding away from all the rest. If his friends would let him, he would play it all the week. His very favourite game, one of hide and seek. But when you are a buffalo, it's really hard to hide. There's always tail or hoof or horn poking right outside. Mulberry trees are great for this, especially in the middle, when Bertie pushed inside it with an extra special wiggle. I hope you're all wiggling, boys and girls. I am. Well, Hezzy, Jack and Seven, Bertie's buffalo friends, they shouted and they shouted, "The game's at an end!" Emma Emu and her friends looked high and they looked low, but no one could work out where was Bertie the buffalo. Was wee Bertie hiding in the old oak tree? No, 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 said Bertie. No, not me. Everyone joined in the search, but no matter where they roamed, no one could find him, so they wandered off back home. Bertie was only little in that great big place, with huge ginormous buffalo who didn't see his face. He felt no one ever noticed him or saw where he had gone. He didn't feel he had a place but wanted to belong. Poor wee Bertie, oh. Away far in the distance there's adventure to be had, but Bertie knew that running off was very, very bad. Still Bertie longed and longed to be the biggest of them all, in lands he could see stretching out beyond the farthest wall. A little blue butterfly landed on his ear. It whispered to him he was safe whenever it was near. As he listened to the words, he leaned against the gate. It opened, Bertie tumbled down the hill at quite a rate. He stood right up and looked around. No one was in sight. So Bertie ran and ran and ran. He ran with all his might. Billy B said, buzz right off. Keep on running past. So Bertie kept on running really, really fast. Now, I hope that fox is watching. I hope the baby fox is watching. The bluebell strewn across the field carpeted his hooves. A fox dressed in his smart red coat made a startled move. He asked, where did you come from, blowing and on a blast? But Bertie kept on running, really, really fast. And an animal stepped in front of him. It looked just like a sheep. Bertie screeched right to a halt at the creature's feet. Who are you and what are you? I haven't got a clue. I'm Ari the alpaca, on holiday from Peru. Bertie ran into the trees, a dark and scary place. Spiders' webs brushed on his hair like tiny scraps of lace. But Bertie trotted deep inside, trying to be brave. He stepped inside a hollow that acted like a cave. The man in the moon took his place, twinkling way up high. Bertie's nice blue butterfly friends... I've missed the line. The sun and moon swapped high fives, twinkling in the passing in the sky. The man in the moon took his place, twinkling way up high. Bertie's nice blue butterfly friend landed on his ear. Sleep tight. I'm here to keep you safe. There's nothing you need fear. Oh, that was nice. Safe in the cave, Bertie played a rather funny game. But baby buffalo need their sleep even if they're tame. His eyelids closed open wide, then they closed once more. Then the strangest sounds were heard. Great big buffalo snores. A roaring beast woke Bertie up. He jumped out of his bed. His long hair whipped around his face as he shook his head. Brave wee Bertie peeked outside. There was and trotted to explore. This was a great adventure, but Bertie wasn't sure. Bertie saw wild creatures going very, very fast, faster than Emma the emu, who never came in last. They were cars and vans and lorries, a caravan and jeep. One yellow car beeped its horn with the loudest beep, beep, beep. Bertie picked up his hooves and ran really, really fast. He bolted back inside the woods past the radio mast. Then he heard Hezzy call, Bertie, where are you? But Bertie couldn't tell him. He didn't have a clue. And that really happened in real life. They took his friends out looking for him. Bertie backed into the wood. He found a little pond. Now, water buffalo, as Bertie was, are really rather fond of water, cool and dark and deep and really, really wide. A really, really perfect place for a buffalo to hide. This was Bertie's special place, he knew without a doubt, especially when he found himself being tickled by a trout. He climbed back out and cleaned himself by rubbing on a log. An animal ran up and barked. It was a great big dog. Woof, woof. Bertie ran out from the woods and heard the strangest sound, belonging to a helicopter flying round and round. There were men with great big cameras, hoping they would see tiny Bertie Buffalo right there behind a tree. And that was the BBC that were looking for him in the helicopter. Bertie picked up his hooves and ran really, really fast until he left the helicopter safely in the past. He curled up in a hut that was painted nice bright red. The farmer's special goggles couldn't look inside the shed. The farmer was out looking for him with night vision goggles. The moon and the sun swapped themselves high-fiving in the sky. I need a place where I'll be safe, said Bertie with a sigh. A great big herd of Highland cow let wee Bertie stay. You're a very funny cow, but you're welcome anyway. A bright red aeroplane buzzed round way up in the sky. The cows all cuddled closer with the loudest Highland sigh. Bertie, in the middle, was hidden quite from sight. The woman in the aeroplane peered from her great height. And that really happened in real life. The air patrol were out looking for him. She didn't see wee Bertie, so flew the plane away, back to the farm from where she came and her aeroplane runway. I didn't find young Bertie, I feel really, really bad. The farmer missed wee Bertie, he felt really, really sad. Bertie missed his friends, this was no longer funny. Bertie missed the farm and had the saddest feeling in his tummy. Had anyone even noticed he'd gone off to roam? The little blue butterfly whispered, you should follow me home. Bertie picked up his hooves and ran really, really fast. Bertie felt excited. He was going home at last. We all missed you, Bertie, said the great big sign. The animals waited to welcome him in a really long line. Emma, Jack and Hezzy hugged him nice and tight. The welcome home party lasted through the night. Bertie knew he wasn't small, he was a great big part of a very special family with a great big heart. And that was the story of Bertie.
Wow. Thank you very much, Wendy.
No worries at all. Now, Bertie's ready to answer any questions, and so am I, if anyone has any.
Well, that's a good question. I wonder if there's anybody who's got questions for Bertie. Because you can send it to us. And
you can get Daddy or you to put them in the Facebook. Or if anyone's sent any already.
Well, here's one that's...
Ooh.
Which part of the journey was Bertie's favourite journey? Running away or coming back home?
Well, I would like to say coming back home, but he really enjoyed rolling down that hill and seeing the freedom he got, but he shouldn't have done that. That was naughty. Running away when you find yourself outside is not good. But it was really nice to come home because he had an adventure, but coming home's exciting because you get to see everyone again.
Excellent.
Nice.
Good. And how did you hear about the story? You get the inspiration for the story.
Well, the story, some of it I had to bring in because it was true. So I had to bring the true story in. But obviously, nobody knew what he was doing completely for 14 days. They just know he came home. He took himself home. But the difficulty was he didn't take himself home to the original bit that he was in. He took himself to the bit where he was born. So that was the interesting part. But what I did was I made it all up out of my head and thought, oh, what animals could he meet? And then my publishers really like alpaca, and they said, why don't we have an alpaca in it? And I thought, well, I like alpaca. We do have alpaca in Scotland as well, seriously. We've got everything in Scotland. It's awesome.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's good to hear. There's all manner of great animals in Scotland. Besides some of the other ones I think about, alpaca and buffalo.
Yeah, buffalo. Who would have known you'd have a buffalo in Scotland? But we do. We have a buffalo farm in Fife, a very big one. And they're lovely, lovely creatures. I've been there. I've met the real Bertie.
Wow. One of these days you'll need to send us. Have you got a picture of you with the real Bertie?
I do. If you want
to send that to us.
At the moment, you can't go there because it's not, you can't go. But they do have open days when everything's open, and it's Bog Lily Farm in Fife. So people can go and visit Bertie.
Right, well, what we'll do is we'll put that in the comments underneath the event page so that people know where to find that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, I've got a question. What kind of other things do you get up to, Wendy?
What other things do I get up to?
What kind of things do you do? Do you just sit back and read Bertie stories like us?
Well, when I'm not reading Bertie stories, I'm writing stories. I'm writing stories for adults. I'm writing stories for 10 to 14-year-olds. I've got a series called The Ferguson Flora Mysteries, which is a bit famous 5 meets Scooby-Doo. That's just fun. So I've got those, and then I write books for mummies and daddies as well. That anybody can read my books as long as they're able to read them. There's nothing in them that nobody could, but you need to be able to read them because they're for older people.
Sure, right. Yeah. So you work right the way across, and I think you're involved with the association, the Scottish Writers Association.
I am. The Scottish Association of Writers, I'm the president. Up until about 4 weeks ago, I was the webmaster for the Association of Christian Writers, and I'm the secretary of the Society of Authors in Scotland. So it keeps me busy. Plus, I fly around the world all over the place, not this year, funnily enough. Bertie was very disappointed because Bertie was meant to be in Paris. And he couldn't go. He was meant to be in Paris in May. But what he did, Bertie's very clever, and he said to all the boys and girls out there, or to their mummies and daddies, if you buy a copy of the Bertie the Buffalo book this week, I will sign it while I'm singing French songs and speaking in a French accent.
Wow.
He's a clever buffalo.
That's a real trick.
It was a very good trick.
That's very, very good.
And Bertie signs the books as well. If you get the Bertie the Buffalo books signed, Bertie signs them as well.
My word. That's brilliant.
I know. He's very clever for a simple buffalo.
He is very clever. And since you mentioned that, and I think you mentioned it, then, of course, we have books. So that is the Buffalo book.
Yeah.
Book. So that is £11, normally £7 a day.
Wow, you're getting a bargain.
Got the Bertie Buffalo colouring book. That's £5 for the event. Look at all those pictures that you can colour in. And don't forget, of course, you can buy a Bertie as well. Somebody had suggested that our last book should be called So we're going to put Bertie up here as well.
Can I say that if there are ever any future Bertie books, I maybe need to think of those. I need to think of those names to go in them because there's some nice names there.
There's some brilliant names, isn't it? Those ones from the people who have watched the bookshop and watched Facebook Live. Now, one last question.
Yeah.
That was a great adventure, Bertie. Have you got any other adventures, Wendy?
Well, I've got a huge announcement tonight, and this is the first time this has been mentioned, so nobody knows this yet, nobody at all apart from me and the publishers, that they have accepted the manuscript for the second Bertie book. And it's not Bertie Returns, it's called Bertie Goes to the Worldwide Games. The reason it's called the Worldwide Games and not the other lot that are going to be in Japan next year is because we're not allowed to call it that because we haven't sponsored them. So you can just imagine where he's going to. And nobody knows that. And I have a second special surprise tonight.
Wow.
The publishers are actually the publisher for Ferguson Flora actually moved back to Australia, and I got the rights back to Ferguson Flora. So which meant that they're not available anymore except from me.
Okay.
But if you get them from, but the publishers, Sarah Grace Publishing, who publishes Bertie, and hello Sarah Grace Publishing, they're an awesome, awesome publisher. They've got some brilliant, brilliant books for adults, children, and picture books and everything on their website, so go and take a look. Or they're available from the Glow Bookshop, yes. Then they have agreed that they're looking at the Ferguson Flora books at the moment, and we're in consultation as to whether they're going to publish them. So they may be publishing them.
Wow. There we go. That's brilliant.
I was told I could announce that tonight.
Excellent. Well, there we go. There's the first note. Before there's a really important question to ask. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, this is really important.
Okay.
Somebody has asked, does Bertie, because it's Scottish, okay?
Yeah.
Does Bertie wear a kilt?
He does wear a kilt. Would you like to see Bertie's kilt?
Yes.
I'll have to get it. Let me get Bertie's kilt.
Oh, here we go. We're just watching to see this. This is going to be something special, folks, because we're going to see Bertie in his kilt. Well, I think so. He's obviously having to...
This is a different Bertie. This is a different Bertie. It is Bertie, but it was the original one that was done just for, and he's got his kilt on. And he got his kilt specially, but we're going to get a kilt for this one as well, yeah? And he got that kilt especially for his trip to the United States of America last year. He spent 8 weeks, he spent 8 weeks in the United States of America last year in his kilt. We're going to get a kilt for this one as well. This one was only just out when we went to America, so we didn't have time to get a kilt made for him.
You've got to be careful to get the kilt the right size, don't you?
You do. So you've got to get your kilt made to measure.
You wouldn't like falling down in the bed.
So we're going to get his kilt done.
And there's one other question to ask as well.
Absolutely.
Do you have any favourite memories about meeting children with Bertie? When you went to meet children and talked to Bertie, do you have any particular memories about that? Special memories?
Well, there are some fabulous memories, but I have to say the best question I have ever had from any child at a book reading was when we opened it up to a group of nursery children who were all about 3 or 4, and one little lad said, the author question he asked was, do you ever wear your pyjamas to the airport? That is the best question I've ever had.
Well, Bertie, our world know the answer to that question, Wendy. Do you ever wear pyjamas?
What I said was, I probably do, because let's face it, we all fall asleep on the plane. I have flown overnight to Hong Kong, so I was in my clothes, which were acting as my pyjamas.
Oh, well. Listen, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
You're welcome. And Bertie told me to say he's very excited as well. He got a bit tongue-tied and shy because he's on the screen, He's used to being in front of children, but he's never been on the telly before, so he's a bit overcome.
Well, there we go. Maybe that's the first. Maybe whenever Bertie goes to worldwide game, he'll be all over the worldwide television.
He will. He needs to be on the worldwide television. And to say that the publishers will probably kill me for saying this, but hey-ho. What they actually said, he's going to be out in time for Christmas presents, the new Buffalo book.
Fantastic. So, you better carry on with that writing.
It's written with the publisher. It's with the publisher. It was written weeks ago.
Good. Okay, Wendy, thanks so much. We're just going to take you out here.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you. Wendy, good night.
Bye. Bye.
There we go, folks. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for our Globe Bookshop Facebook Live event with Wendy Jones and Bertie the Buffalo, of course. Thanks for taking the time to join us. If you are interested in any of the products, then all the links will be on the Facebook page or on our website as well. But thank you and good night.